Model and longtime girlfriend of entertainer Sean Diddy Combs, Kim Porter, was laid to rest yesterday in her hometown of Columbus, Georgia. Funeral taking place at Cascade Hills Church. Porter leaves behind 3 children with Combs and an older son by singer Al B. Shore. Celebrity pastor T.D. Jakes did the eulogy for the funeral. Porter was found dead in her Los Angeles home last Thursday. Authorities say she went into cardiac arrest while fighting flu-like symptoms. She was 47 years old.
Have you ever heard of a person dying from pneumonia with no prior health issues, no signs, and no real answers? Well, whatever they said about Kim Porter's death, it appears that some folk ain't buying it.
I just can't believe that somebody that had the normal flu, that had doctors on speed dial, that they had enough money that they could get the half of the hospital to come to the house and take care of her, that she died of just pneumonia like that.
Now, could her ex, Sean Diddy Combs, be involved in her passing away?
It's a lot of stuff that has been happening. Now, some people even said that her casket was ordered 2 months before she died. But I heard, did you hear something like that, man? That her casket, how you order a gold casket 2 months before somebody died, man?
Before we get into all the theories and suspicious details surrounding Kim Porter's death, let's take a moment to actually talk about who she was. Because too often people reduce her to just being Diddy's ex. That really doesn't do her justice. Kim was so much more than a celebrity girlfriend. Born in Columbus, Georgia in 1970, Kim moved to Atlanta after high school to chase her dreams of becoming a model and actress. She eventually landed magazine features, worked the runways, and even picked up some small film roles along the way. Then came her relationship with Sean Diddy Combs. The two met in the early 90s, back when Diddy was still climbing the ladder in the music industry. They clicked almost instantly and started dating around 1994. They showed up together at red carpets, award shows, and all kinds of major events. Their relationship wasn't simple though, as it was on and off for years. Kim and Diddy would have their first kid in 1998, but by the next year, they had already broken up and were in court fighting for custody. A few years later, in 2003, they got back together, and in 2006, they had twin daughters, Delilah Starr Combs and Jesse James Combs. The peace didn't last long though, because by 2007, they had split again, this time for good. And like most of the people who've ever been involved with Diddy, Kim's relationship with him wasn't exactly smooth sailing. So when she passed away in 2018, there were stories floating around that Diddy might have been involved. One of few folks who have insinuated this is none other than Eugene Big Gene Deal, a former bodyguard who worked for Diddy all through the 90s. Since the late 2010s, he's been hopping on YouTube, going live almost every week, telling all kinds of stories from those days. In different interviews with Art of Dialogue, he has shared stories about how Diddy had assaulted Kim.
Crazy, man. So you could hear Diddy putting hands on Kim Porter.
Well, see, he always do, like I told you, he be doing that. He'll start off, he'll have something on his mind, and he'll like that play fight with them. You understand? And he'll be hurting them when they to the point where they'll be like, yo, stop. You know what I'm saying? But you know, they got the room is locked. You don't hear none of that. And then, you know, Kim would walk out in her white robe and you could see it in her face. But what are you gonna do?
Now, the thought of Diddy hitting a person in order to get his way is not new. Even if the individual is said to be a woman, the video of him physically assaulting Cassie, which recently surfaced and landed him in deep trouble, just one pointer that makes the Kim Porter abuse allegations sound all too real, especially when another man is in the picture. Take the Shakir Stewart case, for example. After Kim and Diddy's first breakup, she started dating music executive Shakir Stewart around the year 2000, and that move allegedly set Diddy off. According to a Rolling Stone report, Diddy didn't take it well at all. While all three of them were in Italy for L.A. Reid's wedding, Diddy allegedly snapped and broke a chair over Stewart's head. Stewart's mother, who spoke to Rolling Stone, said Diddy straight up threatened her son, telling him, "I'm going to kill you." The talk of Puff threatening to kill someone doesn't come as a shock to most people either. Outside the Kim Porter case, there's the popular conspiracy theory that he's involved in the death of the notorious B.I.G. and Tupac. And so it made sense that when Kim Porter passed away in 2018, a lot of eyes turned toward Diddy. And as usual, Gene Deal was right at the doorstep to share another shocking story surrounding Kim and his former boss. According to the ex-bodyguard, the investigation carried out on Kim's death wasn't handled right at all. He said there was no real investigation, that Kim's body was never properly examined in the bed where she died, and that all her phones and devices were also missing from the scene.
I don't believe that 10% of your viewers that's watching this don't keep their phone when they go to sleep in arm reach. How is it that there was no electronic product or gadgets around Kim's bed? Her laptop missing, her cell phone's missing. Everything is missing that she could get in touch with her little girls if they not at home, or her friends or family. All that's missing. How is it that, and this is hearsay, that the detectives did not even view the body in the bed where she died at? That the coroner had already removed her, pronounced her dead, and told the detectives that it was no foul play.
From one tell-it-all ex-bodyguard to another, Diddy's former head of security, Roger Bonds, hasn't exactly painted a pretty picture of his old boss. Whenever the cameras are rolling, Bonds, who held things down on Diddy's security team for nearly a decade, has been pretty vocal about the things he witnessed behind the scenes, especially when it comes to how Diddy treated women. In an interview with Piers Morgan, Bond called out Diddy for manipulating Cassie, saying she was one of the many women caught up in the mess. Bonds would also go on to say he witnessed Diddy get physical with women around 4 or 5 times during the years he worked for him. One of the names that came up was Kim Porter.
How many times did you personally witness him be violent towards women?
Around 4 or 5 times.
And was that all with Cassie, or was it Cassie and other women?
I seen him with Cassie, and I seen him with Kim Porter, his kid's mother.
Bonds also claimed that he witnessed Diddy smack and grab her, and at one time he even witnessed Kim putting Diddy in his place.
What did you see him do with Kim Porter?
I seen him inside the car, grab her up. I seen him smack her, you know. And one thing about Kim is Kim got to the point where she fought back because she realized how powerful she was. It was one incident on Sunset Boulevard in front of the Beverly Hills Hotel where I just seen the car rocking back and forth. You know, of course he put everybody out the car, but I seen the car shaking. So I opened the door. I said, "What are you doing? You know, what are you doing? You see where we at and what are you doing?" And Kim got out the car like nothing happened. And she fixed her hair. And she told him, she said, "I want to see you explain to the media that scratch I'm going to put across your face if you put your hands on me again."
In another sit down with Vlad TV, Bond shared more of what he heard in the aftermath of Kim Porter's tragic passing. He said that he spoke to one of Kim's closest friends right after she passed away. And just like a lot of folks, this friend wasn't buying the full official story either. She described Kim's final days as strange, like something was off. And one detail that stood out was Kim showing up to a party with an IV still stuck in her arm.
But I did speak to one of Kim's best friends, and I kind of just needed to know, and I asked him, I said, what do you think? And this was one of Kim's closest friends, and she said, Barnes, I would hate to think that he had something to do with it. She said, but I think it was Kim's birthday or even Diddy's birthday, and they went over to the Miami house, and they said that Kim had an IV in her arm the whole night. So I guess she was feeling sick or wasn't feeling right, and they put the IV in her. But she said that whole night that Kim had the IV and she was acting funny.
Bonds also addressed a rumor that has been floating around that Kim was working on a tell-all book before she died. He shut that down, saying there was no such book. But one person who's definitely not buying the "there was no book" talk is Albie Shaw, Kim's ex and the father of her oldest son. He's been loud about wanting an official investigation into Diddy, and he took to Instagram with a 4-part post that was part emotional, part cryptic, and all serious. In the post, Albie Shaw didn't just ask for justice, he straight up said there was a cover-up. He called on law enforcement to look into everyone who was around Kim's home in her final days, especially the publicists and industry insiders. According to him, those were the people allegedly working behind the scenes to keep Kim's story from ever seeing the light of day. That same story that Bonds claimed never existed, Al B says it did exist. And not only that, he says it was finished, saved, and handed off for release. According to Al B, Kim had backed up her memoir on a hard drive and made sure it got into the safe hands of a record producer in LA named Chris Todd. Now, that name might not ring too many bells, but here's where it gets real interesting. The Daily Mail reported that Todd was the one who quietly edited and published the book under the alias Jamal T. Millwood. Yep, Kim's Lost Words, A Journey for Justice, from the Other Side. The same book that caused a stare before getting yanked off Amazon. Kim Porter's death still raises more questions than answers. With rumors, alleged cover-ups, and a missing memoir, unfortunately, the truth feels buried, just like her voice.
Well, they said he died from that pneumonia. You know, just like Kim, just like Brittany Murphy. That pneumonia ain't no joke. Hey, every time somebody get to telling the truth about someone, whoever's been lying, they just say a little prayer and then the pneumonia come, and then it's a lot of people been getting that pneumonia.
So yeah, that's what we got for now. So now it's your time to comment on what do you believe happened to Miss Kim Porter. But comment, like, and share. And while you're at it, check out the merch. Thanks again for joining us. Peace and blessings.